Hello and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Jason,
I'm Andy.
and we're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So this is our show where we showcase all the comics that are available to order. We talk about them. We'll tell you why you might want to buy those comics, why you might want to order them. But also we're going to show you all the variants to them as well. So this is sort of our longer show as
Yeah.
opposed to our top 10 comics to pre-order in a flash, which we just recorded and released prior to this. So it is a pretty big week. Some comics I'm really excited about
Yeah.
on the show this week. So we're going to begin with our featured comics, starting with a lot of the ones we just showed off on our top 10 show. But I mean, what can we do? But before we get into that, I got to plug our website, infinityflux.net, where you can follow along. You can look at the very comics we're about to talk about. You can order these comics, anything you pre order, whether you sign up for a series or just get one book or one cover, you get 10% off. We'd like to thank everybody who has already signed up and ordered comics through us. Thank you very, very much. That's at infinityflux.net. Okay, so let's get going with.
Void Rivals. I feel like this is such a book that shows why we do the show.
Yes.
Like this, we're here to impart information so you know how to buy, and Void Rivals is that for sure. So, Void Rivals, I've not heard a whole lot of talk about
It
it.
kind of came out of nowhere, but that's how Kirkman
That's
does
how
his
Kirkman
stuff.
does things. So this is by Robert Kirkman. Now I'm even looking at the title and trying to be like, oh, is the two? Is this trying to say something? This is a new book from Robert Kirkman and Lorenzo De Felici, who was your artist on Oblivion Song.
Right.
Now they are
Look for the
called.
pink signatures.
Yep. This is they are saying the biggest series of 2023. Now that's a big thing to say for a book that has not got a lot of, less publicity around it. The
Right.
big thing that happened is they did a like a retailer event where they revealed something to some retailers about what is in this book. So in general, I'll lay it down. What this book is about is there is a thing called the Sacred Ring where two worlds, this sci-fi, like fight over it around a collapsing black hole, and kind of it seems like someone from each side crash lands on this mysterious planet, and they have to end up working together to find a way to get off. But on that planet, it's a there's a lot of mystery to it, and what lurks there that might threaten the universe. That's the solicitation pitch for it. But the big thing about this is there is talks of this being the Robert Kirkman shared universe, meaning this could tie in with Invincible, Walking Dead, Firepower, Oblivion Song, just anything. Hopefully, Astounding Wolfman, Battle Pope, Brit, going way back.
I can tell you're a Kirkman.
Yeah, I can name a lot of them, but I mean, I feel like this is a book that you do not want to pass up. Um, Even when we were looking at the orders, the incentives for it go up to a 1 in 100, which one, they don't do that if it's a nothing, if it's just another book. And that is a spoiler variant cover. So that means there's going to be something revealed in this that
Right.
they don't want you to know. If this was just characters that you'd never seen before,
Then
that wouldn't
what
be.
would it be
What would it
spoiling?
be spoiling?
Right.
I have a feeling this is going to tie heavily into something that is really going to make people, you know, going to really make people talk.
Right.
So whatever it's tied into, or if it's tied into all of them, we don't know, but don't miss out on this book is essentially what I'm saying. So there is only three orderable main covers for this. This is our A cover by De Felici. We have a young cover, and we have a blank sketch cover. So let this be your warning. We let you know that we think this is
Yep.
going to be a big one to order.
Yep, for sure. We're gonna order a lot of it at our store because
Yep.
we believe in it. And Kirkman, usually he is on point with what he says. but at the same time, he likes surprises.
Yep.
So if you feel like, well, I would have heard more about this, that is what he does when something real big is going to
You've had
happen.
books show up to stores that they didn't even expect.
Yeah.
He's just done crazy things, and I feel like this is another one of his bag of
And
tricks.
I'll say something from a physics perspective, black holes have a lot to do with multiverse. They have a lot to do
Hmm.
with string theory and multiverse is a good way to link separate universes where
Hmm.
they can meet. So not to go physics nerd on you, but I'm looking into the title, I'm looking into the art, that's what
Yes.
I'm seeing. So okay, so next up from Marvel, it is Incredible Hulk #1. Yes, a new Hulk series begins. This one is by writer Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Nick Klein, who is done the cover here as well.
Yeah, he's been the artist on Thor
Yeah,
for a long time.
yep,
Yep.
absolutely. And so there's a lot of problems going on as this series begins. For one thing, Hulk is trying to override Banner and just take over the body permanently. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is some immortal villain is able to turn all the monsters of the Marvel universe against the Hulk all at once. So two
Yeah.
pretty major problems going on. In fact, if I were Banner, I'd probably let Hulk take over for that part of it. The third thing is this is less of a problem, but the solicitation also says that the Hulk has an unlikely ally in this series. I was looking at all the variants going, who could it be? Who could it be? I don't think it's revealed. Could it be a first appearance? Maybe. I don't think so. Like if they say unlikely ally,
Yeah.
typically it's somebody that you know. So still new Hulk series. I know a lot of people are going to be really excited for that. So that's the
Hmm.
what's going on in it, and that's the creative team behind it. So here is our main cover. Then we have the MARQUEZ variant. That's really good, but sort of terrifying.
Yeah. This feels, from what we've seen of this, very body horror. It even looks like you can tell on one of these covers that maybe parts of his body transform before other parts do. So he's gonna have a very like, you know, mix mash thing. You'll have to see the Scotty Young cover to kind of see what I'm talking
I
about.
mean, it worked for Al Ewan's Hulk,
Yep.
so I'm not surprised that that's where Philip Kennedy Johnson might want to go. Here is the George Perez variant. Then we have the BAZALDUA Stormbreaker variant, which has lots of characters on it. Maybe one of them's the unlikely ally, but it could
Yeah.
just be this is what this Stormbreaker artist wanted to draw. Here is the CHEUNG variant. Here is the Patrick Gleason Elemental variant.
I wonder if this is gonna be a new series like his
Right.
webhead
It's
variants.
wild. I like it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I mean, if you're flipping through a bunch of comic covers, you're
You're
gonna
gonna.
pause on that one for
Mhm.
a second. It's not
Yeah, I'm about to
this,
say.
but it's still pretty impressive. And then lastly, here is the Scotty Young cover.
So you see a little hint of what maybe the some of the horrors that are coming.
That's interesting.
Next up is a big one too.
Another
This
big
is
one.
Wonder Woman number 800. Now I'm starting off by showing you the variant cover. This is actually the what it's listed as cover K as the Sampere cover. But what makes this big? For one thing, this is wrapping up Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad's run of Wonder Woman. Their run that they've been doing for a really long
Real,
time
yes,
now.
quite a long time.
Um, but so that story is wrapping up in this one. But also, we are getting our first taste of the next story to come, which is going to be written by Tom King and by Sampere, your artist who did this cover. And who is this on your cover? This is Wonder Woman's daughter, Trinity. So this is going to be the first appearance of Trinity, whose story is going to be more fleshed out in Tom King's run on Wonder Woman he's going to be doing. But there's even some panels that were released that show her talking and everything. So this is not just going to be a, oh, she's a little in the background, that kind of first appearance. No, it seems like this story is going to be set somewhat in the future and she's going to play a pretty major role in it. So another big first appearance for Wonder Woman 800. You don't want to miss this big variant cover that has her first cover appearance.
Yep.
We also have, this is our A cover, the YANICK Paquette cover. We have a Brian Bolland variant. We have our Jamal Campbell variant.
Ah, there's Yara Floor.
Yep. He's not getting replaced by Wonder Woman's daughter, just building out the family. Here's the Bilquis Evely cover. Here is the Belen Ortega variant. Here is the BRANDT and STEIN DC Pride variant. Here is the Michael ALLRED variant. They're doing the swimsuit variants this month.
All right. Okay.
And then this is really nice. This is the SAMPERE foil variant, which I believe is $1 more, but it's not an incentive. It's open order.
Okay, so next featured comic, it is Scarlet Witch's annual. So it's annual #1 to her ongoing series. And you can see a lot on the cover here because it's about a rejuvenated Agatha.
Mhm.
And we saw this happen a while back. It might have been during the Death of Doctor Strange stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
it happened a while ago where Agatha sort of has turned into a more youthful version of herself. And she is unhappy that her former pupil, Scarlet Witch, has absorbed Sithan. He
Mhm.
thinks this is a very bad idea, which it probably is
Yeah,
a
it seems like
pretty
a bad
bad
idea.
idea. So yeah, so the two of them, it looks like they're going to be in quite a disagreement. They might even go toe to toe in this annual. So this is the regular cover. Here is the George Perez variant. Then we have a Jim Chung variant.
It's really cool.
And lastly, here is the Rod Rice spoiler variant.
And you can see there all the other characters. I think this is also going to tie in with the annuals of a bunch of other books. So Moon Knight annual, Daredevil annual.
It's being called the Contest of Chaos.
Yep.
Yeah,
Contest of Chaos is this the prelude to, which will be in all those.
where everybody gets headaches.
Just
It's like
overwhelming
those old
headache.
Excedrin commercials.
They're all sneezing. Okay, next up is a very interesting one. This is Battle Chasers issue number 10. So I said this on the first one. Some people watching this may not have been alive when,
I'm glad I kept this on my poll list this
gosh,
whole time. I
as
knew it was coming back.
as the pull list software changed over the years, it just stayed, it just rolled over. Because Battle Chasers issue number 9 actually came out in, it came August 22nd, 2001.
2001. Yep.
So, it's been a little while for Battle Chasers, but it was brought back in video game form in 2017 with a very much beloved RPG type game. But nope, Joe Moderea, who is very famous, worked a lot in like X-Men back in the 90s. He went on to do Battle Chasers, and then after this, he went on to do games like Darksiders, doing all the art and design for that. Is returning. He is not doing the art, but he is doing the writing of Battle Chasers, starting with issue number 10. Thankfully, this starts a new story arc. If this picked up right in the middle of a story arc from 2001, you would have some people scrambling for back issues, but no. So it sounds like, of course, this is a good jumping on point, but continuing that legacy numbering of Battle Chasers before. If you don't know anything about it, this is set in what they call an arcane punk world, kind of arcane magic mixed with steampunk. And it went on to do the video games. It's very fantasy related. Some very iconic characters like Red Monica on this cover. So if you've never read Battle Chasers, feel free. This will be able to pick up and read and understand it. It'll reintroduce you to the characters. Also, there's some great collected editions of Battle Chasers out there that have the first 9 issues in as well. And you can tell this is a big because there are some great variant covers with very big names attached. So this is our A cover by our interior artist, Lalabi, who has also worked in video games. Then we have this is the Joe Moderea variant. That was your creator. You have a J. Scott Campbell variant. You can tell he has a very solid Rolodex of names. We also have this is the Humberto Ramos variant. We have the Bachalo variant. We have the Scotty Young variant. And
And I like it. Young changed his style. It's like Young but Battle Chaser style
right,
there.
yeah. And we have a Mirka Andolfo variant. So I'm really excited about this. I really suggest if you haven't read Battle Chasers before, give it a try. There's a reason why it didn't just vanish into nothing. It's a really cool series with really awesome art and character
Yeah,
design.
some
So
really really great style, and I almost feel like the creator he saw what Whatnot was doing with all of their variants being video game
yeah,
themed and was like,
we've
man,
got that.
it's time to just go ahead and make some money and get
Yeah,
my thing rolling again at issue number 10 finally.
yeah,
Okay, so next up is a brand new mini series from Oni called Xeno. This is going to be a 3 issue series, and each one is oversized at 40 pages. It's going to be anthology style. So there's different writers and artists on this. I was reading about the stories, and they're so like weird concept. It's like hard to describe
yeah.
them. Like you read the solicitation, you're like, oh, I see those words, but I'm gonna have to see what you mean by
I
that.
think one mentioned like an intravenous video
That was the one I
game.
was going to talk about. That was the easiest one to talk
Yes.
about. Yeah, one story is supposed to be about the world's first intravenous video game system. That was the easiest one to talk about. But I don't mind that at all. I like high concept
I
stuff
was
that
about
they're
to say,
pulling
yeah,
off.
this is for people who just like that sci-fi of like
Yeah.
give me just the outer edges.
So it's supposed to be surreal, satirical sci-fi. Those words really, really
Mhm.
grip me. As far as people working on it, the one that at least I was most drawn to was Shaky Kane is doing the art on one of the
Mhm.
stories. And I mean, Shaky Kane art,
Yeah, you
that's
already know it's
wild.
gonna be wild.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, but it's wild.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. So again, this is just going to be 3 issues. They're going to be oversized, 40-page, just weird sci-fi anthology. I guarantee if you don't pre-order this, your store ain't going to order a ton of it.
Hmm.
It's just going to kind of come out of nowhere. And Oni, they've had a lot of problems lately.
Yeah.
So again, if you want it, I would pre-order it. And so here's the main cover. Here is the Lima B cover. Here is the Ward and Sheehan C cover. I think this might. Oh, I thought for a second that was video games, and I
Yeah.
looked closer, and no, that's no video game I would like to play. And then here's the D cover by Shaky Kane.
Okay, next up is another one I'm starting off with a variant for, but it's because it pretty much speaks for itself. This is Edge of the Spider-Verse, issue number 3. So I think it's interesting, like characters like Spider-Gwen was introduced in Edge of the Spider-Verse number 2. It's like, big things can happen into series. It's not always issue number ones,
Right.
and that is the case here. So this Edge of the Spider-Verse number 3 is the um supposed to be the origin story and kind of secret history of Spider-Boy. All of Spider-Boy stuff's been exploding, multiple printings of all of his books that he's appeared in, and he's only been in essentially maybe 3 pages of comics, 3 or 4. Um, but this is going to written by Dan Slott, who is his creator, so it's in line with what's going on with him. Going to be setting up possibly the future where he's going to be, but also I just think it's going to be really interesting to find out what was teased, his what relationship he has with Peter Parker. There's a lot of theories about that. But this is the Humberto Ramos variant cover. The other big thing in this is you'll see on the A cover is this is going to have a new story with Spider Smasher from Miles Morales, the future version of his little sister.
Right.
So they're bringing that character back as well, which I think is really cool. So this is our technically our C cover, but it's the Ramos
Ramos.
variant.
I like this variant. We were joking before the show. It's like when you're so acrobatic, you can break your own back, and it feels great.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how
It
acrobatic you
feels
are.
like, oh, that would really ease up some tension. There's also the connecting variant, and I think it's interesting. Connecting is now featuring Spider Boy on the cover.
Yep.
And then there's the A cover, which has Spider Smasher on
Spider
it.
Smasher. Yep.
So it sounds like an overall really good issue.
Okay, so a lot of great featured comics
Yeah.
this week. This is going to be an expensive week for me. All right, so here it is, other number ones. They might not be our featured ones, but perhaps these are for you. Starting with a new image series that they're doing with Top Cow, Image Top Cow working together, called Haunt You to the End. Very dire sounding.
Yeah.
So this is by Ryan Cody with the art and the cover done by Andrea Mutti. And the premise of the series is it's set in a post-apocalyptic world where, due to climate disaster, a lot of bad things have happened to the planet. Well, one of the remaining billionaires, I guess the disaster wasn't that bad. One of the remaining billionaires pulls together a film crew and some other people. He takes on an expedition to the most haunted place still around in this world. And he wants to prove that there is life after death. I think it is weird they're linking this post-apocalyptic era with this sort of spiritual
Hmm.
question that they have. I wonder if where they're going is even worse because of all the things that have happened in the
Yeah.
world. But it doesn't say what happens exactly. It just says that what they discover is a lot more horrifying than they expect. So that is the premise to this new ongoing series, Haunt You to the End. And there's this cover, and then there is a variant. This is the Sozo variant right here. Looks like something they might have caught on video.
Yeah.
Some ghost person with, is that like maybe some blood in the
Yeah.
mouth?
And a very shallow nose.
Yeah.
I always like the stories are like they find something worse than they ever expected. It's rarely they find something and it's actually pretty great. They find
Or
this haunted house and there's just fun stuff
they
there.
find something so much more boring than they expected.
Yeah, that doesn't sell books. Okay, next up is a new indie mini series called a Click Click Boom. This is going to be 5 issues, and it is written by Doug Wagner. And once you hear what it's about, the name makes more sense. So this follows a character named Sprout, who is a mute assassin, but she speaks through Polaroid pictures. So she's probably going through a lot of film,
Hmm.
just throwing those things out left and right. But the click click, like camera and then boom is the assassin part. I think is really fun. She was raised in seclusion by her kind of crazy grandfather who kept her away from everything. I believe in kind of like outskirts Idaho, and she has never been around other people. She's never watched TV, and she's never seen clothing that's not military fatigues. So, but what was the craziest thing you could do with someone like this? She is heading to New York City to hunt down who murdered her grandfather. So that is like Culture Shock the book. I think it sounds really interesting. There's some preview pages online for this, and it's just the one cover. So definitely pre-order if it sounds like something you'd be interested in.
So far, it sounds like she's not necessarily a serial killer. She's like an
She's
assassin.
an assassin, yeah.
So, that's definitely Doug Wagner doing a little bit different because, he did
Yeah,
Plastic and he likes to write about the serial killers.
yeah.
He's got that twisted sense of humor in
Hmm.
writing. So, his stuff, it's fun. It's always creative. All right. So, next up, it is a new image series called Tales of Suspense.
Suspense,
Yep.
suspense.
And this is supposed to be, each issue is going to be two 12-page stories of suspense. It is written by Chris Ryall with art by Ashley Wood. Ashley Wood's going to be doing some cool covers on this as well for each issue. And that's about all I know about it.
Yeah.
I know I'm already on the edge of my seat. The part of me that likes to see words spelled in weird, fun ways sees that suspense and right away.
I know Ashley Wood too has a lot of fans for
Yeah.
very unique style.
Yep, and Ashley Wood is going to be doing a special cover of that style for each issue
Hmm.
of this series ongoing. So it's sort of a collect them all
Yeah.
covers that they'll be doing. And so here is the B cover. This is the Daniel cover to sell the Tales of Suspense #1. All right, so next up, it is cool covers and other comics. This is going to be some of the best variants for ongoing series this week, and also issue number 2s and 3s of series that have just started that you might need to be reminded that maybe you want to sign up for the series now.
Starting with Avengers #2. I reviewed Avengers #1 this last week. I really liked issue #1. Definitely a setup issue, but we now have Carol Danvers, who is the chairperson of the Avengers, going around and recruiting who she thinks is the best for her team. But there was kind of a surprise ending where someone showed up. Someone maybe if you read the Timeless book and gave a hint to maybe what the bigger story in this is going to be. Well, in this one, the Avengers find themselves with the rare gift of foreknowledge of threats that are coming. But can they even trust this information because of who it came from? I'm very excited for this new era of Avengers. I like the team they've put together, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go. Written by, of course, Jed McKay and Sia Villa doing the art. Just so much fun. We got a bunch of great variants for this. So this is
I haven't read this yet, and from so judging by the cover, I guess she didn't pick Captain America. She's like, if I'm leading this team, number one, no Cap.
well,
I don't need
she
backseat
got Sam,
leadership.
and she came into the room when it was like, "I need Cap," and they're both like, "Yes." And she's like, "No, I want that one." Uh,
That's amusing.
because they said she said something like, "He's more human. I need someone. I've got gods on my team. I've got robots. I need someone who's actually human." And got Sam, which I thought was an
That is
awesome
true.
reason.
I forgot he is Cap right now as
Yep.
well. They're equal Cap.
We also have the George Perez variant. We have the Great Lakes Avenger David Baldion variant, which says not star. It says like definitely not starring the Great Lakes Avengers. And we have the Paulo Rivera variant.
All right, so here's the main cover to Cult of Carnage Misery #2, the new series about the new symbiote character Misery. And in this issue, the all of the Life Foundation symbiotes have been stolen. All of them. They're all in the little jars, including Toxin, for instance. And it is up to Liz, who is the new character Misery, to try to find out why they're stolen and try to get them back.
Mhm.
So that's what's going on in issue #2. And then I'd also like to point out that issue #1 is going to second print with this really awesome Ken Lashley variant.
Yeah.
So this is #1 second print Ken Lashley variant available for order as well.
We also have Danny Ketch Ghost Rider #2 of 5. This is what you miss when you're not here.
I
You missed
know.
out reading Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. So this is really great. There is a new character called the Broker, and he has the ability to boost the power of Ghost Rider's enemies. And so it's going to be up to Danny Ketch and possibly Johnny Blaze to go up against him. This is our A cover for that. And there's a Peach Momoko variant, which is very nice.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yep.
Okay, so next up, here is the main cover to Guardians of the Galaxy #3. In this issue, the Guardians are going to come face to face with their old teammate Groot, but he is very different. If you've read the first two issues, you know the whole first arc is called Groot Fall, and
Mhm.
this huge Groot force is destroying everything. So he is clearly not the teammate that they remember. So again, this is the main cover to that. Here is the Rod Reese cover to that, and here is the Stonehouse variant for that issue as well.
Okay, next up we have a really cool one. This is Star Wars Bounty Hunters #35. Now, this issue is a big deal because this starts a new era of bounty hunters. So this follows a pretty catastrophic battle against Inferno Squadron that came in there, and now the team is going to get shaken up a little bit. This time we are getting some of the most dangerous bounty hunters in the galaxy, including Deathstick, Dirge, who I really like, and Boba Fett is going to be joining them. So he's popped in and out of the series a little bit, but it looks like he's going to be kind of leading the team now. So very excited about that. This is our A cover. We have this beautiful Alex Malee variant. You can tell this is a big issue. It's kind of got extra variants. We have the Inhyuk Lee Dirge variant. We have the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary variant. And we have the Wernick Star Wars Pride Month variant.
All right, so this is the Superlog variant for Hellcat issue #4. And in this, Hellcat's going to undergo a transformation into something called Demonic Hellcat.
Oh gosh.
So, yep, she's going to be taking a new form in this issue of Hellcat #4. And again, this is the Superlog variant for that.
Okay, Titans issue #2 is on order, and Titans #1 just came out this week. Had a pretty shocking death in it, as the Titans discover one of their teammates dead at Titans Tower, and now it is up to them to figure out what happened. All the while, a new Brother Blood is rising as the Titans are seem to be crumbling right as they're starting. So this is our A cover for that. We have our Jen Bartel variant with Starfire. We have our Edwin Gallman, the Flash movie variant. And we have the Joe Quinones swimsuit variant.
All right, here is the Stoko variant to Batman Incorporated #9. And in this issue, Joker Incorporated and their Game of Terror goes up against Batman Incorporated. So again, here's the wildly insane Stoko variant for that. And then here is the Rosie Campy DC Pride variant with Ghostmaker.
Very stylish.
Yep. Walking the rainbow carpet
Yeah.
for Batman Incorporated #9.
Next up is Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 16. So in this one, you've got Batman, Superman, Robin, Metamorpho all going up against the deadliest AI machines in the DC universe. So just continues to be a fantastic series. This is our A cover by Dan Mora. We also have this really nice Libra Mayho variant and a Doug Braithwaite variant. And one more, we have the Babs Tar swimsuit variant with Clark and Bruce looking like models.
Yep. See how quickly you can count all the abs against your friends. All right. So next up, this is the main cover, the DeMeo main cover to Batman: The Brave and the Bold, issue #2. So this, of course, has multiple stories from multiple teams, including it's got the next story that's going to show who the Joker's next murder victim is. It has more of Batman's first meeting with the Joker. It has another Stormwatch story. And it also has a story. They say it's going to be a black and white, and it's going to show some of the Dark Knight's worst battles where he sustains the most physical and mental and emotional
Oh
damage that he's
gosh,
ever been
it's
through.
gonna be brutal.
So yeah, this is the main cover for that. Here is the Derek Chew cover, and here is the Brett Booth variant for Batman: The Brave and the Bold, issue #2.
Next up, we have Batman White Knight presents Generation Joker #2 of 6. In this one, we have the kids of the Joker versus the daughter of the ventriloquist. We just saw some of those creepy puppets show up in the end of the last issue. So, very excited about this one. This is our A cover from Sean Murphy. And then we have a Mirka and Dolfo variant.
All right, so this is the Sway variant, the Catwoman #56. And in this issue, Selena is going to pay a visit to her sister Maggie, but at the same time, Aiko has a bone to pick with Selena. So that is what's going on in issue #56. Here is the Sweeney Boo variant to that issue. And here is the Perry and Rachel Dodson variant to that issue as well.
Next up, we've got Green Lantern issue #2. I loved issue 1 of Green Lantern. And in this one, Hal is still stuck on Earth, and it's not going great as he is right on the edge of losing his job at the Ferris Air Force Base. And it seems like Sinestro is scheming and plotting what he's going to do on Earth. So this is our A cover for that one. We have our Tony Daniel variant, and we have our Derek Robertson variant. And there's one extra. This is the Mike Diodato Jr. variant as well.
How are people liking the Green Lantern rings?
Oh yeah, big hit. Everybody coming to get Green Lantern gets the ring, and people wanting extras, but that's too much power to wield. You
Exactly.
can't do that.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna start turning into Sinestro
Yep.
or flip over to Marvel and be Mandarin.
And a lot of people are like, "Does it work?" And it's like, "Well, if you have the willpower," and they're like, "Nah, I don't have the willpower."
You gotta find the battery and charge it
Oh,
first too.
that's true. Yep.
All right, so here's the main cover to Cyborg #2. So the question of this issue is, who is this android robot character who has broken into Cyborg's house claiming to be his father? So more on that mystery in this issue #2, and here is the Surg variant to that as well.
The craziness continues in Multiversity. Harley screws up the DC universe. This is issue #4 of 6, and this is our Megan Hetrick variant, which I love. She seems to be using Wonder Woman's lasso to knit a snake a sweater. Sure.
Okay, so I talked about this one on our 10 comics order in a flash. This is Nightwing number 105. So even if you're not reading Nightwing, you might want to pick this up because it's another Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo trying to elevate the art of comics and do something weird and interesting. Not that it's never been done before, but it hasn't been done lately,
Yeah.
and certainly not by one of the big two, Marvel or DC. So this is a point of view issue. You see that right with the cover. You are Nightwing, and the whole issue is going to be the art is going to be done, and the story will be catering to as if you are Nightwing looking through his eyes and point of view setting. There's supposed to be a lot of heroes and villains that show up that you have to fight and fight alongside of. I'm along for that ride.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a one shot that's going to be really cool, very experimental. There's a reason this is an award-winning series. So that's what's happening in Nightwing 105. Here is the Dan Mora variant. Here is the Jamal Campbell variant. You can see that seems to be done in point of view.
Yeah.
And here is the Yoshitani DC Pride variant.
It's almost like you need to get a Nightwing VR experience where you're like going through the city as Nightwing.
That's right. Get on that meta.
Next up is Superman issue number 5. Another series that has been so much fun and a pretty shocking thing we found out in the last issue about a possible relationship between Jimmy Olsen and Silver Banshee. That continues in this as Silver Banshee is back and is a bigger threat than ever thanks to something Lex Luthor might have done. But they do tease that there is something major that happens in this one that stabs the series in the heart. And I'm wondering if this is not maybe not looking too good for Jimmy Olsen or someone else who has kind of a romantic connection in this book. So this is our A cover for Superman. We also have the Mikkel Janin variant.
Oh, romance.
We have the Fornes variant. We have the Forbes DC Pride variant. And we have this crazy cool Liber Mayho variant.
Yeah, that's cool. That
That's
looks great.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the main cover to Spirit World number 2. In this issue, our main character Xanth has teamed up with Constantine. They are trying to find the correct portal to get into the spirit world where Xanth is from because Cassandra Cain has been lost there. And meanwhile, on the other side of things, Cassandra is trying to hide her scent from all the dead because they want to devour anything that's from the world of living. But she has her two new companions. Who are they? Can they be trusted? That's what's going on in issue number 2. So we also have this Dustin Nguyen variant and this Jessica Louis Fong DC Pride variant for that issue.
Next, we have Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow, issue number 3 of 6. In this one, the Dominators are unleashing something new. I don't know if it's a character or a weapon or what it is called the Hulking Infinity. So, pretty cool one. This is our A cover and a really great variant. This is the Lopez Ortiz variant.
Yeah, I like that. Just flying right off the page.
Yeah,
That's what that looks
very
like.
cool.
Okay, so this is the main cover to Vigil number 2 about the new team that has appeared in Gotham with the question, who are they? And this miniseries is kind of clearing that up. This issue is going to follow their leader, Arclight, who you see right there. It's going to be sort of who is Arclight? What is this character's past? So here is the main cover, and then here is the Malavia variant for the Vigil number 2.
Next up is Wildcats number 8. This is actually the variant. This is the Kale New variant. And I just was like, oh, I'm putting this here. I like Wildcats, and this is a cool variant. But then I read about it. So in this, there is a new team of Wildcats, including Grifter, Green Arrow, Robin, Maul, Savant, Midnighter, and Scarecrow. So I think this is pretty cool. Kind of putting together a new version of the Wildcats and having Scarecrow on
I
the
was going to say,
team.
has Scarecrow been on many, teams that aren't just complete villains?
I don't think so. So I'm very excited to check out what's going to be happening in this, why this team is put together, how they're recruited, what their job's going to be. So this is the Kale New variant for Wildcats number 8.
All right, so here's the main cover to Something Epic #2 by Simon Kudransky. So in this issue, our main character Daniel is going to more explore how he interacts with the world, the imaginary world and the real world together. Maybe we'll get to see like, how that can power him or what the evil people who have this power are doing. Issue #1, very cool. I give it a high review. The art alone is just incredible. Everything's being done by Kudransky too, even all the variants. So the main cover is by him. Here's the B cover, obviously Back to the
Yep.
Future. Here's the C cover, doing a GI Joe action figure cover, and here is the D cover.
It's very cool. It's like a sketch.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Giant Kochu #3 of 3, the final issue to this mini series. It's funny, there was even a uh, a thing from Zeb Wells, the writer of Amazing Spider-Man, that said like, "Thought I was done having to hide comics under my bed," but no, this series is just that raw. Issue #2. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but there was a public transportation bus that just didn't deserve what happened to it. So if you're enjoying this series, it's only 3 issues, wrapping up with issue #3. This is our Koblish A cover, and he also does the variant, where this comic book store looks like it got the bad end of it got put in the wrong line of fire.
I hope they have their business and insurance papers in order like we do. Okay, so next up, this is the main cover to Ghost Lore #2. This is the new 12-issue maxi series by Cullen Bunn with art by Leo Max. And in this issue are two main characters who survived a terrible car crash last issue and found that they were now able to see sort of dead people in the world of dead. They're discovering that maybe these ghosts they're seeing also have undergone some horrendous tragedy. So that's what's happening in issue #2. #1, very interesting, real
hmm
cool character building. I quite enjoyed it. And here is the Luckert variant for Ghost Lore #2.
Next up, we have TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures continued, issue #2. So in this, where the first series was a series of one shots, kind of like episodes, this is a big ongoing story that's going to go over the whole series. And Rat King has, instead of being able to control rodents, he's found that he can control reptiles, including the turtles. So he is sending the Ninja Turtles on a crime wave. How are they going to get out of this? You'll have to find out. This is our A cover. We have our B cover, our C, and that was it.
I was going to say, that is not Ninja Turtles. No, this is issue #2 of the latest of Ed Piskor's Red Room series called Red Room Crypto Killas. So in this, I like the write up on this. It's meet the cryptocurrency keeper. So he's like the crypt keeper, but for today,
That's kind of funny.
he's a rising YouTube star who's demented. Does our channel have to worry?
Oof.
I don't know.
I wouldn't
So
get on his bad side.
yeah, so this is the main cover by Ed Piskor himself. All right, so now it is our last segment. It is other printings and graphic novels.
Starting with Invincible Iron Man #6, second printing. This is a very popular issue as it went kind of back to a more classic time in Iron Man's history to tell a story that's kind of affecting what's going on now. And you got this great cover with Emma Frost.
Silk's #1 is also going to second printing with this recolored cover here. So this is Silk #1 second printing, the Dave Johnson second printing variant.
This is the collected edition of Star Wars Thrawn. This series actually came out quite a
It
while
was a
ago, and
while
this has
back.
been
It's
out of
really
print
good.
forever. This was like a very expensive series after it had come out,
Yep.
and the trade was very hard to get. So I'm very thankful they're putting this out just in time for people to read it before Ahsoka comes out and Thrawn kind of makes his big premiere in the Star Wars live action universe.
Yep. And it was based on the novel. It wasn't like
Yeah.
completely new stuff, but they did a good job of this. This was a
Yes.
great read, good art, totally gripping the whole way through. if you don't know who Thrawn is,
Hmm.
and you're excited for Ahsoka, and I mean, this is a really good
There's even
introduction
rumors that
to
the
Thrawn.
the new movie, the Dave Filoni movie, that's going to tie all the shows together is going to be called Heir to the Empire, which is the book that was his first
Yep.
appearance. It's just you need to get this as a primer for Star Wars to come.
Okay, so this is DC presents Vixen NYC. So this is from writer Jasmine Walls with various artists, and this was originally a 9 episode webtoon character who is now getting her own graphic novel
Hmm.
comic, original graphic novel. It's 39 pages, it's 14.99, and basically this girl, she's gifted with ancestral totems. She gets on a kind of a gift. It's like, here you go, you're gonna have these totems that give you animal powers. Well, she goes to New York. That was like her gift on her way to New
Hmm.
York. She gets to New York, she's going to college there, and what do you know? A lot of big city problems, a lot of college problems. It's okay because she has animal powers now.
Hmm.
And that is generally what the series is about, but it is from the 9 episode webtoon, real popular webtoon.
I like, Vixen is a classic Justice League character, but it's nice to see her get a very modern
A modern
update.
redoing,
Yeah.
yes, of this version of Vixen, I
Yeah.
should say.
Next up is Batman Wayne Family Adventures. Just like the last one, this is based off of a web comic. This collects the first 25 episodes of that web comic. And it's more of a fun book as it talks about, Batman has basically all these kids, and for a lot of times they're all under the same roof. How hard is that? It just sounds like a lot of really fun stories based around the idea of the Bat family. And you can get this volume one for 14.99.
I just want to see a Bat Family food fight. Like the
Oh yeah.
cover itself is
Because
like,
you know how good their accuracy is, like it can be very dangerous even with food.
okay, that is our show for this week. That was a pretty big week. A
Yeah.
lot of books I'm very interested in. So thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. But I want to remind you, if you want a place to order comics from, please consider us. You can, or just if you want to learn more about the comics, go to
Mhm.
our website at infinityflux.net. You can sign up for those very comics we talked about. We also have our back issues online that you can browse. Any series that you pre-order or any issue you pre-order, you get 10% off and you get our undying affection. That's my promise this week. So again, thank you very much for watching our show, and we will see you next time.